Hi, everyone, and welcome to the CDOs Magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDO Magazine and the EDM Council. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Julie Champagne. Julie is the Managing Director of Corporate Services and Data at the Bank of Canada. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you, Robert. Pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is all ours. When we often talk to data leaders about business value outcomes, as the Bank of Canada harnesses the power of innovation, are you able to share what business value outcomes you're striving towards?
Yeah, sure. And, these are some of the things that we're striving for. They connect directly to our core objectives and our mandate. And you can see them in our strategic plan. So, right in our strategic plan, one of our goals is to harness the power of innovation. And some of the business outcomes that have been named there are around, the enhancements of our policy models, enhancing data and analytics, our payment systems, how we contribute to the successful implementation of payment systems, retail payments in our expanded oversight mandate, and our essential bank digital currency. So all those are in our strategic plan, and it outlines exactly what we're trying to achieve from a business outcome perspective. And maybe if I just take the data and analytics segment here, because that touches my team very specifically. Like all of these, I can tell you, data and analytics touch all of these, right?
Everything.
It underpins everything. And if I take this one specifically in what we're trying to do, that's why it's so important that we expand the type of data that we can bring in so that we can do it. It's timeliness of it, it's velocity, it's how we bring the insights forward. It's why it's not just the ingestions, but it's also like we've been building up our data science team and our analytics team so we can provide those services hand in hand with our business partners. And from a policy institution's perspective, and there's lots of scrutiny. You can imagine, right?
I can imagine, yeah.
It is crucial that we are able to fully explain the data-driven decision process. So we have to have, it's got to be open and transparent and reliable. And so we are building that kind of those foundational pieces to support that and to embed innovation in our work in a robust fashion and to have our workforce trained, to have best informed cutting edge data and analytics technology that are relevant to our domains. I can actually go on and on, but it is really important that we incorporate this because it is the trust and confidence in the bank that enables us to more effectively promote the economic and financial well-being of Canadians. And that's our ultimate mandate.
So you mentioned data and analytics and machine learning. And as we chat to data leaders and CDOs, some, most likely a lot now, because we've been doing this for several years, believe that to be a successful data leader in organizations these days, that one must not only become data-driven, but also increasingly have a strong profile of data and analytics. So can we ask, would you agree with that statement? Do you have a strong background in data analytics, or do you just need to make sure that you understand enough and have the right people in place? Where do you stand on the thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for this. I think this is going to keep maturing as we go on. And so that's why I think it's true to some degree. Maybe at this point in time, it's you can have that understanding, and it is about being part of that data analytics community, right? And generally. And at the same time, I think it's going to become more and more important. So yes, maybe at this point in time, data-driven understanding of analytics, and as we go, it's going to be kind of like before where, only certain people knew how to use Excel.
Right.
Now everybody has to know how
Everyone
to
knows.
use
Yeah.
Excel,
Yes.
right? Because data in and of itself is only valuable if it's coupled with analytics. And if you don't have, if you don't have or don't understand that, you can be wasting your time. So it's kind of like data without analytics is you're sitting on a gold mine, but you're not mining it. So understanding its potential and what it takes to get there, that's really important. And yes,
Yeah.
I would add to that as well, because there is the analytics side, but it's also, I'm going to say the business side as well. Like what
Yes.
drives business decisions and behaviors to derive the intended value from that data. So linking that data, the analytics, the business knowledge, the strategic outlook, and even the influencing and communication skills to drive that change, I think is important. And I generally say it takes 3 C's, curiosity, collaboration, communication. And I'll say as well, an amazing team of information data and analytics, along with partners such as our ITS and business partners. So
I love the kind of Venn diagram you have of the 3 C's. Right. That's great. So again, for our listeners, if you haven't heard of that, go back and rewind the video there to talk about consistency. What was the 3 C's? Consistency,
curiosity,
curiosity.
collaboration, and communication.
There you go. Now, one of the things, because this is obviously an interview on behalf of CDO Magazine and EDM Council, I understand that Bank of Canada is an EDM Council member. Could you let us know, have you been able to explore the alignment between the EDM portfolio and the data management capability model that they offer? Is that something that you've been able to review, take advantage of? Is that part of your roadmap? Where does that stand from your point of view?
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Robert, for the question. And yes, absolutely. I mean, I think it has been incredible. I was fortunate enough to be told about the EDM Council by one of my colleagues at TD Bank, and was a big promoter of it. And as soon as I understood and saw the richness of
Yes.
the information in there, and the model of sharing is incredible. So I promote it across the bank, not just in my team, but with partners in ITS, in being able to leverage not just the white papers that are there, but also the courses, the presentations, the conferences. And so, yeah, and there's one in particular, I'm promoting a lot of the women in data, being a woman,
Yes.
and I've got a number of my colleagues that, I'm promoting it as a means of getting engaged and looking and working on working groups. And coming back to your question, did I use some of the base, the decamp, like did I use some of the materials?
Yep.
Yes. So we've been looking at our governance model, and certainly that's been very helpful and useful to be able to, look at the different models, the different aspects, and be able to communicate it in an effective way.
Excellent. So for our listeners, please take a view to the edmcouncil.org website and view their DCAM model, maturity model. So thank you for that, Julie. So moving on, we talked a little bit about the business value outcome.
Yeah.
So now I understand that the Bank of Canada has been in business since the 1930s, I believe. And
Hmm.
I'm sure, like many private organizations, BOC is investing in the digital journey. So, would you be able to kind of outline your expected value that the digital journey is going to deliver to the Bank of Canada? 'Cause you've talked about it, but I think
Yeah.
condensing that into where you see it's going to deliver would be interesting for our users, for our listeners.
Right. Okay. And yeah, we've been in business since 1930, and I imagine for some of my colleagues in other central banks, that seems quite young. Um,
Well,
But
especially Bank of England, yeah, I would
yeah,
assume so.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, and we collaborate with central banks from across, right? We
Right,
collaborate with our crowns here, but central banks is quite a family. Um, and and even on our digital journey, we collaborate on that as well. And we've got an ambitious plan to be digital first central bank in every aspect of our business.
right.
And this is clearly set out. We've got a digital strategy that so if you go on our website, Bank of Canada, you can and you Google digital strategy, it comes up. You're going to be able to see it, and in it, we've got 4 pillars that so we recognize this is going to be a journey, and we're it's going petit pas, but we are looking at enhancing our economic analysis and policy actions, improving our digital communications inside and outside the bank, achieving operational efficiencies, throughout, and that's with tools and data, but also on the types of processes that enable data access and cultural issues, and then also advancing our central bank digital currency. And so, the data function here, and so it's interesting. We've got a digital strategy. We also have a data strategy,
Right.
and because data is so connected to this. I mean, it really
Yes.
is kind of some say the jet fuel, I can say the jet fuel, the engine, to power that jet. Like it is key to any successful digital strategy. And we are in our own, improving analytics capabilities, digital records, digitalization across records processes, digital communications, and incorporating modern platforms, standardized tools. So we really look to promote efficiencies from across and embrace the new tools and the data and putting information and insights right in front of our leaders at the right time to enable better decision making. So yeah, it's a journey for sure.
Julie, we'd really like to thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it. We hope that we can get the chance to come back and learn more about what's going on with the Bank of Canada in the future.
It's my pleasure. I'd be happy to anytime, and I can't wait to hear about what others are doing as well because it's a shared journey. So,
Yes,
and there's
it is.
always things going on. So keeping abreast of all of the developments is certainly key.
And for our listeners, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.